Hi guys, Sarah the Northwoods Stitcher. I'm filming up at camp. I thought that I would take down everything off the walls, everything that's stitched in this house. So I'm going to be showing you framed, fully finished cross stitches that I have on display up here that I enjoy, and when I come up here I actually say hello to because it's nice to revisit with them. So I have probably 27, 30 frame stitches. I have them piled up on both sides that you can't see right now. So some of them I know, and I did some research to find out what they were because much to my horror when I started this project last night, I found out that most of them don't have anything written on the back. So I did do some research and I have, I think, 3/4 of them marked. But hopefully the ones that I don't have marked and I show you guys, you might be able to tell me and figure it out with your sleuthing skills. So let's begin. I have them from all over the place, and hopefully my husband's a little worried I can't find homes where they used to go, but I think I can do this. So the first one is a Bent Creek, and it's So Kind Seeds, and this is one of their little zipper kits. It's done on an 18 count linen over 2, and I want to say it was 2 strands over 2. It might have been more than 2 strands because it's awfully thick, but I put it in this cute little barnwood frame. I framed this myself, and then on the back I put on these little tabs and just did a little wire to hang it. This actually hangs in our living room by the porch door. So I stitched this. It's not going to say. 2015. It doesn't seem right, but it does say 15 on the back. Hopefully I can find places to put things down. This, I don't know anything about. I do know that I did probably about 6 of these back in the day. It is not dated. It's called Wake Up and Smell the Coffee. It was such a fun and cute stitch that I ended up doing this multiple times for gifts for various people. There is no glass in this frame either. This is a really cheap, like dollar store frame, but the gold I think worked with this. And I like little details on the mug. And it's just a really simple plastic crappy frame. But I hang this up in the kitchen, of course. Shh. My husband said, I'll sit quietly in my chair. He's opening up some chips, I think. This I have in the bathroom, and it's not stitch related, but I thought it would be fun to share. It's from the Beach Glass Expo. Now, I bought this because I really loved that somebody took beach glass and made a cute little kitty cat and birds on the wire scene. And I just wanted to show you guys some other ways of doing artwork and framed pieces with little bits of beach glass. And a lot of people are actually buying beach glass from people who tumble them. I don't think I would know whether or not the artist did it for this piece, but I just love the big cat and the little cat looking at the birds. I found this on the wall in the bathroom. I thought I'd share it. This piece is a Country Cottage Needleworks. It is also not behind glass. It's called Bee Virtues, B-E-E. And I do remember I found, I think it was the mat board and the frame, or maybe it was just the frame, at a frame shop on a clearance shelf. So I thought I'd grab it because I did think this honey-colored wood would look good with this stitch. And I really like how the little bees came out. I don't know what the fabric is, I'm sorry. It's a very, very tiny count. It might be a 28 count Lugana, but I'm not sure. It looks like a linen to me. The next is a little one that lives in the bedroom called Bunny and Bee. And this is a teeny cross-stitch chart by Teresa Kogut. And it's a bunny and bee. Again, this is a really cheap plastic, crappy dollar store frame, but I like the frame style for this. And it's just a little standalone. I did this in 2021. And I wish I had the information on the green linen, but I don't. Maybe it's more of a khaki, but I do like it. I might do this one again on a greener fabric, but I think I'd lose the green in the flowers. I'm not sure, but he's really cute. And I want to say he's a 4x6. He is small. Next I have my butterfly collection. This one also lives in the bedroom. This is Winged Monarch Butterfly Kit by Mill Hill. It is not behind glass. It has one little porcelain flower button. The beads on this are amazing. I think you can see it when I tip it a little bit. I don't know, I'm pretty sure this is a Mill Hill frame, although I tend to buy similar frames and repaint them. So this was done in 2021. I'm pretty sure you can still get this kit from Mill Hill. There are lots of beads in the flowers, in the stems. I just love this one. And this one hangs on a wall, so I don't use the little peg stand for it. You can hear Stuart running around. This one is just the Monarch Kit from Mill Hill. This hangs on a little peg up on the wall. It's a peg on our key keeper. We have a little box that we keep keys in. So that was fun to stitch. It's done on a perforated paper. I did this in 2014. I ended up doing two because I gave one to my stepmom. And I just put felt on the back, and I did my initials with a little bit of embroidered stitch. Not very good one, but good enough. And then I used a fishing line to hang it from, so it looks like it's just flying by. This one was something I brought home from my dad's. I did this for him in 2004. It's called Feathered Friends, and this is a dimensions kit from 1997. He and I really liked birds. I don't know if the film is really doing justice to this, but this is a black matte frame. So that's a goldfinch, a tufted titmouse, a blue jay, and a robin. So that's Feathered Friends Dimensions Kit. Definitely a 5x7. It looks like it's got a little bloom or two on the fabric, so I should probably take it apart and see what's going on under there. It's something I framed myself, so maybe it's too sealed. Ooh, Stuart's running around at my feet. You might hear little thumpy thumps. He's running around naked today because he's feeling so well and doing so well, not going after his stitches. I did bring his little cone up here to show you how small his cone of shame was. You can barely get your hand in there. Poor little thing. But every time he ate, he would get food stuck in his cone. So Nurse Abby, our dog, would clean the cone for him. He was very tolerant. Pretty awful having to wear that for so long. Oh, these. These I don't have any information on. These were actually my father's. And I want to say he stitched one or partially stitched one and had the other one with it. So I went ahead and stitched it. And then when I went to iron it, it bled. Do you see how it bled just a little bit, the red? I don't really mind that so much. Here we go. So I have apples and I have pears. These live in the kitchen and they're 5x7s. Oh, galloping horse went by. I think this is probably one of the first things I finished that it was partially done by him. No information on this one as to when it was done, but this is Crane's Bell Pull, and it's Stitch World cross stitch. Holy cow, I can't get it into the frame. There we go. But you can tell I love birds. I love the Oriental style, which I think this is a nice mix of things. I did not sign it. I did not date it. But this lives in the bedroom. It sure is pretty. I want to say it might be a 16 count or an 18 count black Ada. It's meant to be a bell pull, but I put it in one of these do-it-yourself frames. These are just metal. These are tracks that these things fit in. And then you tighten it up. I haven't bothered to tighten this up. Don't need to, it just hangs. And it's just a single piece of matte board, and then I've put a black acid-free paper behind it so no white shows through. This one was a present. This was done by my dear friend Kelly in Australia. Oops, there we go. Now this is called a tribal stitch. So there are a whole bunch of different tribal stitches. This is by White Willow Stitching, and this is called Tribal Crab. I love this. So tribal stitches, you can get a wine glass made up of different little motifs in it. You can get different animals, different scenes. But this is White Willow Stitching, Tribal Stitches. That would be a great way to search to see what else is available. But our friends Deuce and Kelly gifted us this Christmas 2012. And it looks like it's a gray fabric. It's just beautiful. It's very striking. I love it. And this is something that we hang up in the hallway. I don't know where I'm going to put all these. This one, don't know anything about. I have to say Soupy knows more about it than I do, because I do remember she gave me the pattern and she gave me the fabric. So this is just a little basket of lavender on a honeycombed Aida cloth with little bees, done in 2017. And this frame is so old. See, this is why I took them down so I can clean everything. Let me get a napkin. I thought I'd cleaned most of these. So this I probably picked up, I don't know, at a dump or a yard sale. It's a very old style frame. It is not protected, probably should be. Oh, this dust is going to make me sneeze. But, Soupy, do you remember, Sophia, who did this? Was this a DMC chart? I don't remember. It was fun to do, and it really is perfect in this tiny little frame. This is in the bedroom in a wee little corner on the wall near my closet so I can see it every day. It looks like I laced the back and just pressed it into the back, and it had these little tabs. But awfully cute. Makes me want to do more Lavender and Bees. This one was a fun one. This is the Lighthouse by Bent Creek. Also not protected by glass. This is, I don't call this barnwood. It's supposed to look like barnwood. It is a wood frame. I got it on clearance at a frame shop. I remember that. I like the depth of it and the texture to it. And this was done, it's a pretty tiny count. I want to say it was a linen, probably something higher than maybe a 25 count, I'm not sure. I did do this in 2016, and then I covered the back after I sealed it, put on a little tab. This is just some paper I use in carding, and this is from this morning, tagging it when I had to look up and see what it was. I think you can still get this pattern. It might be on 1, 2, 3 Stitch. If I did it over again, I would use a darker background fabric because the Lighthouse does not pop enough for me. And it is a variegated white. I remember that. But I think the rest of this is all DMC. Oh, and that's a variegated up there for the actual light. I do have some on the floor I'm afraid to forget. This is one I brought home from my dad's. I have no information on it because it is so old. It is traveling in the frame, which is not so good. Ugh. So it's a map of Cape Cod. I remember it was a kit way back in the day. It is moving inside. It's bubbled a little bit, and there's some blooms under here. So I'm not too happy with how it's surviving. Oh, I think I'll have to take it apart and try to wash it. It's a little scary. It is not dated. It might be dated underneath the mat, but I don't have any information on this stitch. I do know it was one of the first things I gifted to my father when I was stitching. So it could be early 90s, not late 80s. Next one is a rescue. Oh, not that one, this one. This is a mirror and a cross stitch. There we go. Now I do know this came from a very old cross stitch magazine, and I don't remember which one, but flipping through my cross stitch magazines one day, I did come across it. It was a series of farm animals that they did monthly for probably 4 months or 3 months. And somebody decided to do this steer. Yeah, it's got horns. And I really liked it because it was a beautiful, it's a little just beautiful frame piece. And I remember I got it probably for, I don't know, $8 or less than $10 at a thrift store. So this is a little 5x7 area, and this is a very long mirror. We hang this up in the hallway. It says on the back of it, made especially for Jan Rogers. With lots of love at Christmas, 1993. From Joyce B. Harkless. Or Hankless? I think it's Harkless. It's beautifully done, and I'm so happy to have saved it. And it's done, looks like on an oatmeal linen. Over one. And there's some half stitches in it. This is an oldie but a goodie. This was hard to identify. I waited a little too long to go looking for this. There we go. So this one is a sunset kit. It's called A Single Rose. And it is a kit that's from 1990, but I stitched this in 91. And I did sign it in a light gray. This is one of the first pieces I had framed, I think. Maybe, yeah, first few pieces. Because on the back, it does say I had it framed down in Orleans at the Framing and Print Gallery on Cove Road. I used to go there for a lot of my framed work. But I love the gold inlay in here. So it is professionally sealed. Unfortunately, it does look like there's some, I don't know, fogging underneath the glass. So I don't know if I'll ever take it apart. I might, just to redo it. But it is a beautiful piece. And probably on eBay, you can still find this kit. I know there's a couple of other designs similar to this with like 2 flowers in it. This was hard to find, but I did find it. I did this for my dad many, many years ago. It's not dated. I don't pretend to know when. I can't find a date on the kit, but I did find this kit still on eBay. Now this is called Stitch in Time, and it's Herb Garden by Needle Magic Incorporated, which was a company and a kit made in the USA back in the day. And it came fully kitted, so it came with a little mechanism that you need to make the clock. It came with a hoop, it came with a fabric. And I think there was a different backing, but I didn't want to have too much in the way of this. So it still works. I keep a battery out of it because I don't want the battery to be forgotten and not just die and rust in there or explode. But it's awfully cute. He was a foodie and we both like spices, so I did this for him. And now it's returned to me and I keep it in my bedroom. Now I have, this was a chart gifted to me by my friend Barbara, who lives up here near camp. And this is The Last Ripe Berries. This is part of the Loose Feather series. This is number 9 by Bluebird Designs. And I did sign it. I did it in 2021. And I have my initials in here. And I think the B is for berries. But I do love how this came out. This is another imitation wood frame. I don't remember where I got the frame, to be honest with you. It might be just a sale frame that I picked up. But I do like how it came out in this. This is a hallway piece that sits near an antique spoon collection that my husband brought home from his mother's house. It just looks perfect. Nice compliment to that area. It is a freestanding too, but we hang it up. Now I can have my water in front of me. This is our Charlie Harper glassware collection. We've got a couple of different birds. Next, oh gosh, this one lives right there where that peg is. So this is Garden Verses by Prairie Schooler, book number 49. And I drive my husband crazy with this because I know it by heart. How doth the little busy bee improve each shining hour and gather honey all the day from every opening flower. I'm trying to teach it to him. This is a frame that came from Goodwill, and my husband spray painted it gold for me. This might be one that I hand painted, but I'm pretty sure he spray painted this one. He did a couple of spray painted frames for me because I'm lousy at spray painting. It's behind glass, and it looks really cute above the honey lamp and next to this, which also kind of looks like a beehive pattern. It's just fun to have hanging there. And it's right above our kitchen table, so I get to say, "Are you ready?" and just quote it to him. I did this on, it looks like an 18 count Ada. It was a fun stitch. It was fairly quick. If I had to do it again, I would do it on a darker fabric, so the wings on the bee would pop, or maybe I would outline it with a single strand of something soft, not a black, but maybe a honey colored outline or back stitch. I did this in 2021. That's a fun stitch. But wait, there's more. This is a really fun one. This is above our windows that overlook our porch. This is another metal do-it-yourself frame, and this is called Be Thankful, and it's an imagining kit. I want to say I got it at Hirschner's. I did this twice, exactly the same way and same frame style. I gifted one to my sister. I told myself when I did the second one, all those berries would be beads. It didn't happen. It's not French knots. They're just full stitches. You can see I did it in 17. But wouldn't that be great if all the berries were beads? I'm pretty sure you can still get this kit. If not the kit, you can get the chart. And it's just perfect for above a door. And we have it above a window. So we have 3 windows, and it goes above the second window. And it's not glassed, but I love these frames. I think you can still get them. You can probably order them somehow. What else? Oh, this cutie sits in the hallway. This is Let It Be, and it's a dimensions kit. A little bigger than a 5x7. I did this in 2015. And the fabric is stitched. So that is a half stitch to do the swirls in the background. It was a fussy stitch, but it was a fun stitch. And I am very happy with this frame. I want to say I got this frame at Michael's back in the day. 2015, so it was a while ago. But I like that ship rope. It might be a Christmas tree shop frame as well, which we can't go to anymore. But that's Let It Be Dimensions. This one's my favorite. I say that about all my stitches. This is the Mad Bluebird. Now he's behind glass. Some of you may be familiar with this. This was a very, I don't know, viral photo. This was taken, the photo was taken in, I think, 1979. And they soon made, for years and years, and still are, they are making mugs and framed pictures and tea cozies and t-shirts. This little mad Bluebird was not happy to get his picture taken. And when they made it into a cross-stitch kit, I absolutely died and had to have it. The worst part of the stitch was the post. But this was done, the kit was made in 2000, and it's a Busilla kit, and it's called Mad Bluebird. He is very fussy looking. I want to say it's an 8 by 10. It might be a little bit bigger. And again, I think this is the same kind of frame, or maybe it was the same place that I used for the lighthouse from Bent Creek. He's just so cute. He's so fussy. He sits in a very central part in the living room. So when you walk in, you see him glaring at you. Put him down carefully. Ah, this was a rescue. I don't know where I rescued it from, but I had to have it. And there's some problems with it, and it's been bugging me ever since I picked it up, but I haven't taken it apart. Isn't that great? Beautiful, beautiful finish. There is like, I don't know, a floss booger, a piece of dust. It might have been just from, you know, transporting it someplace, but it's always bothered me. Now this was first made as a needlepoint kit, and then it was turned into a cross-stitch kit. Now the needlepoint kit, I wrote it on the back, the needlepoint kit is called Lighthouse Cove, and that was put out by Dimensions in 1998. And then they turned it into a cross-stitch kit. I think a lot of people were trying to convert it. And the cross-stitch kit was done by, it's called Lighthouse Point as a cross-stitch kit. So Lighthouse Point was put out by Creative Accents Cross-Stitch, and it was a kit. So I don't think you can still get it, but I'm sure glad I found it. I must have picked this up at a thrift store. Either that or it was gifted to me by somebody, I don't know. But this hangs up in the hallway. Or I should say the mud room. Because we kind of have like a, I don't know, a seaside theme going on in there. But just fabulous. It's not signed, so I think the way this is finished, this was probably something that hung up in a shop or a store to advertise that they had it, because to properly hang a picture, designs and art framing in Fort Lauderdale. I wasn't down in Florida shopping, but it made it up to the New England area, and that's how it came to be in my possession. Never to be parted with. I'm keeping it forever. Oh, you guys will recognize this. So I did this recently and brought it up. This is the Realis Kit, the strawberry fully beaded berry, except for the leaves. So this was done on a 16 count opalescent fabric. Maybe you can see some of the sparkle as I turn it. I stained the frame. I did this in 2024, you remember. And everything in here is from the kit. Except for the fabric. I think the fabric was bleh, so I changed it out. That was a lot of beads. So this little berry sits in the bedroom. This is a fun one. I should dust this one. This one didn't get dusted. Blah. This is an ink circles. And this is Elemental Dragons Earth. It's a 28 count Lugana, and it's called Dark Lima Bean by Mystic Fabrics. I wrote it all down in the back. I love this fabric. This was really fun to stitch. Now, I did it in DMC 3799. That's why it doesn't quite look black. Maybe it does on the camera. Now, I did sign it. So I did this in 2021. But I have to say, this Mystic fabric was such a joy to stitch on. It was, I don't know, so soft, but yet so easy to stitch on. It was just gorgeous. I wish I had more of that fabric. Dark Lima Bean. Did I say 28 count Lugana? I think I did. All right, let's put that. I don't have any information on this. We all know, and when I stitched it, it says, be calm, stay home, be well, stitch on. I think this was a free chart that came out during the pandemic, and I just jumped on it. I had a frame like this this is a Goodwill frame, and it was just a quick, fun stitch, something therapeutic, and I enjoy it. Unfortunately, I didn't sign it, I didn't date it, so I don't know which year I did it. Nothing on the back. I should have at least put down who gifted us this pattern, but maybe you guys know who did. Let me know in the comments so I could put it on the back. And this is a 3799. It's a little softer than 310, so that's why I like to choose that. This was a gift. I think some of you may remember I did show how I finished this off. So my dear friend Linda, who's down in Arkansas, she sent this up to me unfinished, and I put it in this fantastic standing, I don't know what to call it, standing base. It used to have a clock in it, I think. I got it from Goodwill. She did this specifically for us, for our camp. And it sits up here on the buffet. So we get to look at it every day when we sit at the table. I just love it. And this is, she did this in 23. So she did this last year. Now, when I finished this, I put it on this piece with magnets because my thoughts were I'd put another stitch on here, seasonal stitch, but I haven't gotten that far. So I have to somehow remember that this is up here and has the potential for being turned into another stitch. But isn't that great? I love this. Or I should say, we love this. This one I don't know anything about. It was done in 2016. I love these chickadees. I know I did it on a gray Ada, and looks to be a 16 count. It is a 5x7, and I put it in a larger frame so I could double mat it and have some colors really pop on it. It lives just behind and above our TV so I can see it all the time. Chickadees are I think it's safe to say my absolute favorite bird, but I just love this finish. I don't know if it's a cross-winged from the cross-wing collection. I know I still have the chart somewhere. It might even be from a magazine. I don't recall. But I was very pleased to get it done and finally have it hanging up. And it looks like it needs some inner dusting. There you go, babies. I take care of you. Yeah, I already did the top. So if you recognize this, drop me a note so I can put it in the comments. If I don't hear from anybody who knows what this is, I'll probably just come across it when I go through all of my patterns someday. Last but not least, this was done in 1999. And this is called Feline Forsomes, or Forsome. Feline Forsome. It's a dimensions kit that was put out in 1991. And I got this kit from a friend. And when she gifted it to me, I stitched it up right away. And it hangs forevermore. I've got this in our bedroom. I think it's really cute. This is a dark teal mat. It is double matted. I want to say my dad did the matting for me. The inner mat is a lighter color, almost matching that blue. But it's awfully cute. I don't know if you can still get this because it's so old. You might be able to find a kit on eBay still if you're interested. But it's awfully sweet. Oh, 16 by 16, I think. And it doesn't have to be that bad. It's probably 14 by 14 or 12 by 12. It is showing some age up in the edges. It's starting to bloom. I don't know what causes that. I should probably look into it. All right, I think that's it, you guys. Woo! Now I'm going to dust everything, clean all the glass, maybe vacuum the non-glassed ones. We'll see. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not it. Hold on. I didn't go through the books, but we do have a bookmark collection up here. This was done by my dad, and I know that our cat Mo got it, so he shredded it. So this is one of the first bookmarks that my dad did. He put on an ironed backing. This is a little kit that I picked up when we were traveling in New Zealand. So this is our Kiwi bookmark. I didn't date it, but it says New Zealand Kiwi. I finished the back. I hand sewed a piece of fabric to the back. This, I think, was a kit. It's done on a perforated plastic. I did this quite a few times for a number of gifts. It's thin enough to be a bookmark, but it's very rigid, so I use these in my hardcovers. And then I just felted the back. Unfortunately, I didn't date it, so I don't know what year I did this. And then I did do this, I want to say from a card book, but I did this for my husband. Again, I don't think it's dated. Forgot to sign the back. And I just made it, glued it to the felt so it's a little floppy. It's awfully cute though. Counting this was insane, so I probably just said, good enough. Why does it have to be what they said it should be? It could be however long I wanted it. So that's what I did. Oh, and at the end here, and we'll take some pictures and put them up. I've done a couple of light switch covers. I think I've done 3. That's 2 blueberries and a ivy. I've got the ivy one in the bedroom that I know, blueberry one in the living room, and a blueberry one in the hall. And remember those light switch covers that you could buy? I came across a bunch of them, and I do know I have another one that's going to be, I think it's a nautical theme for the bathroom. So I'm motivated now to get that kit out, start it, and finish it. So that's the end that will be, the pictures will be up at the end. And I think that's all of the stitches. As soon as I end this video, I'll probably find a stitch and go, oh, but it is what it is. Hope you guys are having a great week. Happy stitching and be safe. Hi guys, almost forgot. I have 2 cross-stitch pillows up here at camp. This one was done by my friend in Australia. Her name is Kelly. She did this in 2015. And I want to say this is a tribal stitch by White Willow, but I'm not sure. It's just gorgeous. And the back is a fish print. Isn't it beautiful? It's massive. I want to say, I don't know, 22 by 22, maybe bigger, 24 by 24. And then I have this cute little thing. Let's see, I did this in 2018. This pattern either came from a magazine or one of the Craftways Christmas books. I really enjoyed doing this one. This is a tiny one. I want to say it's a 12 by 12. It's got a tuck pillow backing. Oops. There we go. The little cabin is up right now. So those are the last 2 add-ons.